The kiss burned like ice against Daniel Crawford's lips as the woman pulled away, her silver eyes reflecting the Chicago skyline behind him. For one heartbeat, the world went completely silent. No traffic noise from Michigan Avenue below, no wind whistling between skyscrapers, nothing but the thundering of his own pulse. What the hell was that? Daniel gasped, staggering backward against the rooftop railing of the Hancock Center. The charity gala continued inside, oblivious to whatever had just happened 30 stories above the city. The woman, Lyra, she'd called herself, smiled with an otherworldly calm that made his skin prickle. "Insurance," she whispered, her accent impossible to place. "They're coming tonight, and I needed a contingency." Before Daniel could demand an explanation, she convulsed, doubling over as if struck. When she straightened, her eyes had changed. No longer silver but deepest black, like holes cut into the night. "They're here already," she hissed. "Run, Daniel Crawford. If they catch you, both our worlds die." The rooftop door burst open. 3 men in identical dark suits strode forward with the synchronized precision of wolves. Their movements were too fluid, too perfect, like animations that had crossed into the uncanny valley. "Step away from the human, Empress," the lead figure said, his voice unnaturally flat. "Empress?" Daniel's thoughts spun wildly. What the hell was happening? Lyra positioned herself between Daniel and the newcomers. "Your rebellion fails tonight, Sentinel. This world remains under my protection." The man smiled, revealing teeth too white and too numerous. "You have no authority here anymore, Lyra of the 7th Realm. The Concordat has fallen. Earth is now under new management." In one fluid motion, Lyra ripped the delicate silver necklace from her throat and threw it at Daniel's feet. "Run," she commanded again. "Trust nothing, no one. Find Elijah Ward at Northwestern University. Tell him Lyra sent you. Tell him it's happening." Then she turned toward the 3 men, her form suddenly shimmering like heat waves above summer asphalt. Daniel backed away, heart hammering against his ribs. Something fundamental was wrong with the world, with reality itself. The lead man noticed Daniel's movement. Seized the human. He's been contaminated. That was all Daniel needed. He scooped up the necklace, turned, and sprinted for the service elevator he'd spotted earlier. Behind him came sounds no human throat could make, high-pitched wails and frequencies that made his teeth ache. The elevator doors closed just as something slammed against them, leaving a dent in the metal shaped like a human hand, if human hands had 6 fingers and retractable claws. Daniel's breath came in ragged gasps as the elevator descended. The necklace in his palm pulsed with faint blue light, and with each pulse, images flashed through his mind. Vast cities beneath purple skies, spacecraft like liquid mercury, and Lyra, seated on a crystalline throne, surrounded by beings both beautiful and terrible. The elevator stopped at the lobby. When the doors opened, 2 more men in identical suits stood waiting. Their heads turned in perfect unison, eyes fixing on Daniel with predatory intensity. "Containment protocol engaged," one said, reaching inside his jacket. Pure instinct took over. Daniel hurled the necklace at them and dove behind a marble column. There was a flash of blinding light and a sound like the air itself being torn apart. When Daniel peered around the column, both men lay motionless, their suits smoking, skin cracked like porcelain. The necklace hovered inches above the ground, still pulsing. Daniel grabbed it and ran into the crowded Chicago night, weaving through tourists and locals enjoying the warm September evening. His phone buzzed, 14 missed calls from his sister Jessica. When he swiped to call back, the screen displayed a single message. "They're watching. Ditch the phone." Without hesitation, he dropped the phone into a passing garbage truck. Whatever was happening, His normal life had just ended. Rain began to fall as Daniel flagged a taxi. Northwestern University, he told the driver, trying to keep his voice steady. Medical campus. The driver nodded, pulling into traffic. In the rearview mirror, Daniel caught the man's eyes silver, just like Lyra's had been. The Empress has marked you, the driver said softly. All the worlds will hunt you now. Daniel's hand tightened around the necklace. Who are you? What's happening to me? The driver's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror again. I'm just a refugee from her war, like many on this world. He hesitated. The kiss. Did she speak words after? She called it insurance, Daniel whispered. The driver inhaled sharply. Then it's true. You carry the succession now. He pressed down on the accelerator. We need to get you to Ward before they track your essence. As they sped north along Lakeshore Drive, Daniel noticed lights in the sky. Too many, too orderly to be stars or planes. They formed patterns, then scattered like startled birds. What's the succession? Daniel asked, unable to tear his eyes from the sky. The end of one age, the driver replied grimly, and the violent birth of another. Part 2. Dr. Elijah Ward's laboratory occupied the basement of Northwestern University's medical research building. The taxi driver refused payment, pressing a small copper coin into Daniel's palm instead. Show this to Ward, he instructed. Tell him Kavax sent you. With that cryptic message, he drove away, taillights vanishing into the rainy Chicago night. Daniel stood drenched on the sidewalk, clutching a mysterious alien necklace and a copper coin, while somewhere above the clouds, something that called itself an Empress was fighting creatures disguised as men. Reality had fractured around him in the span of a single kiss. The security guard eyed Daniel suspiciously as he entered the building, water pooling at his feet. Library's closed, buddy. Everything's closed. I need to see Dr. Elijah Ward, Daniel said. It's an emergency. The guard snorted. At 11 p.m.? Not happening. Daniel's patience snapped. Listen, I was just attacked by something pretending to be human, and a woman with silver eyes told me to find Ward if I wanted to stay alive. So either point me to his lab, or I'll find it myself. Something in Daniel's expression must have registered because the guard's demeanor shifted. He leaned forward, voice dropping to a whisper. Take the elevator to B3, not on the directory. Use your Northwestern ID to access it. I don't have. The guard slid a keycard across the desk. Ward's expecting you, Mr. Crawford. The hairs on Daniel's neck stood up. How do you know my name? The guard's eyes flicked to the security monitors. The Empress has many allies. Hurry. The elevator required both the keycard and a fingerprint scan, which impossibly accepted Daniel's print. It descended far deeper than 3 floors, the digital display blinking through numbers before settling on B7. The doors opened to a cavernous laboratory filled with equipment no university should possess. Entire walls displayed real-time astronomical data. Glass chambers housed objects that defied description. Metals that moved like living tissue, plants that reacted to sound, and what appeared to be a miniature aurora borealis contained in a sphere. You've brought it, then? A man emerged from behind a quantum computer array. He was in his 60s, with wild gray hair and intense eyes behind round spectacles. Lyra's contingency? Daniel hesitated. Dr. Ward. There's no time for verification protocols, Ward snapped. The Sentinels have already breached Earth's outer defenses. The necklace, please. Daniel clutched it tighter. Not until you tell me what's happening. Ward sighed impatiently. The simplified version? Your planet sits at the nexus of 17-dimensional pathways. It's strategically invaluable. For millennia, the Concordat, a coalition of advanced civilizations, has protected Earth while humanity developed. Lyra was the Concordat's Empress. The Sentinels are trying to overthrow her, capture Earth, and harvest your species. Harvest. Human consciousness has unique properties. Quite valuable, apparently. Ward glanced anxiously at a monitor showing multiple red dots converging on their location. The necklace, Daniel. Please. Daniel hesitated, then remembered the taxi driver. Kavax sent me. He produced the copper coin. Ward's expression changed instantly. Kavax is alive? Here. He examined the coin. This changes everything. He pressed a hidden panel in the wall, revealing a secure chamber. Inside. Now. They entered just as the laboratory lights flickered. Ward sealed the door behind them. The kiss, Daniel said. Lyra called it insurance. The taxi driver mentioned something about succession. Ward froze, then slowly turned to face Daniel. She didn't just kiss you. She transferred something to you. What? The succession protocol. If an empress is compromised, she can transfer her essence, her authority, knowledge, and power to a surrogate. Ward studied Daniel intently. You're not just carrying a piece of Lyra. You're technically the new empress. I'm a guy from Chicago who sells insurance. Daniel protested. Not an alien empress. Biologically, you remain human. Metaphysically, Ward gestured vaguely. It's complicated. The building shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. They're here, Ward said grimly. The necklace is a key to the Concordat's defense network. Without it, Earth falls within hours. Daniel finally handed over the necklace. Ward placed it in a device resembling a quantum lock. What happens now? Daniel asked. We run. Ward grabbed a backpack apparently prepared for this moment. The succession protocol is incomplete. The transfer won't fully stabilize for 72 hours. During that time, you're vulnerable, and so is Earth. Vulnerable how? If they capture you before the transfer completes, they can extract Lyra's essence and command codes. With those, they can disable Earth's hidden defenses and begin the harvest. Another explosion rocked the building. Alarms blared. Where do we go? Daniel asked. Arizona. There's a Concordat outpost disguised as an observatory in Sedona. Lyra's forces are gathering there. Ward activated what looked like a normal tablet. The wall before them shimmered and revealed a tunnel. One more thing you should know, Ward said as they entered the passage. The succession isn't just strategic, it's biological. Your DNA is already changing. You'll start experiencing enhancements. As if on cue, Daniel's vision suddenly shifted. The dark tunnel became as clear as daylight. He could hear heartbeats, Ward's, his own, and others far down the passage. Like that, Ward confirmed. Just the beginning. Now run. If the Sentinels capture an embryonic empress, both our worlds are finished. They sprinted through the tunnel as the sounds of destruction echoed behind them. Daniel's mind raced faster than his feet. 12 hours ago, he'd been preparing for a charity gala, worried about meeting his sales quota. Now he was carrying the essence of an alien empress, running from creatures that wanted to harvest humanity. And somewhere above, the real Lyra was fighting, perhaps dying. All because she'd chosen him for her contingency. The tunnel ended at what appeared to be an ordinary Chicago Transit Authority maintenance door. Ward pushed it open to reveal a subway platform. Red line, he said. We'll take it south, then find transportation west. Daniel stared at the mundane subway station, filled with late-night commuters completely unaware that their world hung in the balance. Why me? He finally asked. Out of everyone at that gala, why did she pick me? Ward's expression softened slightly. The succession protocol requires compatibility. Something in you resonated with Lyra, a quality she needed. He checked his watch. Our train arrives in 2 minutes. After that, we don't stop until Arizona. Daniel nodded, still processing the impossible weight that had been placed on him with a single kiss. Above them, the lights flickered as another distant explosion shook the city. Part 3. The California Zephyr sliced through the darkness of the American heartland, carrying Daniel and Dr. Ward westward across Iowa. They'd abandoned their original plan to take multiple trains after spotting what Ward called proximity drones at Chicago's Union Station. Metallic spheres disguised as security cameras, scanning passengers. How many of them are there? Daniel asked, watching the midnight landscape rush past. These sentinels. Ward glanced around the nearly empty observation car before answering. Their advance forces number in the hundreds, mostly infiltration units designed to assume human form. But their main fleet remains beyond your moon, cloaked from Earth's detection systems. And no one notices? The government, NASA, someone? Some do. Ward adjusted his glasses. Why do you think SETI went quiet a decade ago? They detected something and certain agencies intervened. There's a covert branch of your military that's been aware of extraterrestrial presence since the 1950s. They maintain a fragile cooperative relationship with the Concordat. Daniel's enhanced hearing picked up footsteps approaching. He tensed, but it was only the conductor checking tickets 3 cars away. These enhancements, Daniel said, flexing his hand. He could now see the individual blood vessels beneath his skin, pulsing with a faint silvery glow. How far will they go? Depends how much of herself Lyra transferred. Ward produced a small device from his backpack and scanned Daniel. Significant cellular restructuring already. Your sensory enhancements will continue to develop. Strength, regeneration, cognitive capabilities, all increasing exponentially. Will I still be me? Ward's expression softened. Your consciousness remains your own, but you'll carry Lyra's memories, knowledge, perhaps even aspects of her personality. I'm already having dreams, Daniel admitted. Glimpses of places I've never seen. A crystal city under 3 moons. A council chamber filled with beings that don't look human. The Concordat High Council, Ward confirmed. 17 species from across this galactic sector, united to maintain dimensional stability and prevent predatory civilizations from exploiting developing worlds. Like Earth. Precisely. Humanity has potential few species possess, a unique adaptive consciousness. Given time to evolve naturally, humans could become something remarkable. The Sentinels would rather harvest that potential now, extracting and weaponizing human consciousness. Daniel shuddered. How does one even harvest consciousness? Trust me, you don't want those details. Ward checked his tablet. We're being tracked. Multiple signals converging. We need to get off this train. They disembarked at the next station, a tiny platform in North Platte, Nebraska. The town slept under a canopy of stars, unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding in its midst. Ward hotwired an old pickup truck from the station parking lot with suspicious expertise. 30 years with the Concordat, he explained, noting Daniel's expression. You pick up skills. As they drove west on Interstate 80, Daniel's thoughts turned to his sister Jessica back in Chicago. My family, are they in danger? The Sentinels want you, not them. But as a precaution, Ward handed Daniel a secure satellite phone. 1 call. Make it brief. Jessica answered on the first ring, her voice tight with worry. Danny? Where the hell are you? The news is saying there was a terrorist attack at the Hancock Center, and then northwestern. I'm safe, Jess, Daniel interrupted. Listen carefully. Go to Mom and Dad's place in Lake Forest. Stay there. Don't use electronic devices. Don't trust anyone who seems off. What does that mean? Danny, what's happening? I can't explain now, but I'm trying to fix it. Promise. I love you, Jess. Tell Mom and Dad. The call cut off as Ward snatched the phone and threw it out the window. Sentinel interceptors, he explained, accelerating. They're triangulating. The night sky behind them lit up as 3 aircraft appeared, moving too fast and too silently to be human technology. Their hulls gleamed like liquid mercury under the moonlight. Hold on, Ward said grimly, veering off the highway onto a dirt road. The truck bounced violently as Ward pushed it to its limits. The interceptors followed, descending rapidly. Daniel's enhanced vision caught movement in the fields around them. Humanoid figures running at impossible speeds, keeping pace with the truck. We're surrounded, he warned. I know. Ward reached into his backpack and pressed something that looked like a garage door opener. Concordat Emergency Protocol. Let's hope they're listening. Nothing happened for several seconds. Then, the cornfields around them erupted in blue light. Concordat soldiers, at least 20, emerged from hidden positions, firing weapons that released pulses of energy rather than bullets. The Sentinel ground forces faltered. Above, the interceptors scattered as new aircraft appeared, sleek, organic-looking craft that moved like living creatures rather than machines. Lyra's Royal Guard, Ward explained with relief. They've been waiting for the succession signal. A female voice crackled through the truck's radio, which shouldn't have been possible given its age. Dr. Ward, we have your position. Extraction in 30 seconds. Is the successor secure? Ward grabbed a microphone that hadn't been there moments before. Affirmative. Daniel Crawford carries the Empress's essence. Succession at approximately 40% completion. Understood. Prepare for dimensional shift. Daniel felt a strange pressure building around the truck. What's happening? Short-range teleportation, Ward explained. Hold on. It's disorienting the first time. The world outside the windshield seemed to fold in on itself. Colors inverted, sound disappeared, and Daniel felt his body simultaneously stretching and compressing. Then, with a sensation like plunging into cold water, reality snapped back into focus. They were no longer on a Nebraska dirt road, but inside what appeared to be a massive hangar. Dozens of beings, some human-looking, others decidedly not, moved with purpose around vehicles and equipment beyond Earth's technology. Welcome to Sedona Base, Ward said as they exited the truck. One of 17 Concordat outposts hidden on Earth. A tall woman with copper skin and silver eyes approached. Unlike Lyra, her otherworldliness was unmistakable. Too perfect, too symmetrical to pass as human except at a distance. Commander Taylin, Ward greeted her. This is Daniel Crawford, the successor. Taylin studied Daniel with unnerving intensity before dropping to one knee. My Empress, she said formally. The Royal Guard stands ready to serve the succession. Around them, all activity ceased as every being in the hangar knelt in unison. Daniel stood frozen, overwhelmed by the display. Please don't. I'm not. You are. Taylin rose. Whether you wish it or not, you carry our Empress's essence, her authority, and her burden. She turned to Ward. The situation deteriorates. The Sentinels have activated Phase 2 of their invasion. We've lost contact with 4 outposts. And Lyra? Daniel asked. The real Empress, is she alive? Taylin's expression darkened. Captured. The Sentinels hold her aboard their command ship. They're attempting to extract secondary access codes from her consciousness. Can they do that? Daniel felt sick at the thought. Not completely. The primary codes transferred to you through the succession. But they can obtain enough to bypass certain defenses. Talin gestured for them to follow. Come. We must accelerate the succession process if we hope to save both your world and ours. As they walked deeper into the facility, Daniel realized it extended far beneath the red rocks of Sedona. A vast complex disguised by technology beyond human comprehension. 40% complete, Talin noted, studying readings from a device strapped to her wrist. We need the succession at least 80% stable before you can access the defense network. And if the Sentinels attack before then? Daniel asked. Talin and Ward exchanged grim looks. Then, Talin said quietly, we fight and die while worlds fall silent. Part 4. The acceleration chamber resembled a fusion of advanced medical facility and temple. Crystalline structures pulsed with inner light, surrounding a central platform where Daniel now lay, connected to monitoring devices that defied Earth science. The process will be uncomfortable, Talin warned, making adjustments to the equipment. We're compressing what should take days into hours. What choice do I have? Daniel replied grimly. Around him, Concordat technicians, some appearing human, others distinctly alien, worked with practiced efficiency. Dr. Ward stood nearby, arguing with a being whose translucent skin revealed complex organs unlike any terrestrial anatomy. The risk is too great, Ward insisted. His human physiology is adaptable, the alien physician interrupted. The Empress chose well. His genetic structure is already 62% compatible with the succession essence. Most humans would have rejected it entirely. Daniel cleared his throat. I'm right here, you know? They both turned, momentarily abashed. Daniel, Ward approached, his expression grave. There's something you should understand before we begin. The succession protocol, it's more than just transferring authority or knowledge. What do you mean? The Empress exists partially outside normal space-time. The power you're inheriting, it will change how you perceive reality. You'll experience multiple timelines simultaneously, like seeing the future and past and parallel possibilities. Ward adjusted his glasses nervously. It's why the Empress is so valued by the Concordat. She can navigate probability itself. Before Daniel could process this revelation, alarms blared throughout the facility. Talin consulted a holographic display that appeared mid-air. Sentinel forces have breached our outer perimeter, she reported. Multiple insertion points. They've brought harvesters. The alien physician hissed something untranslatable. Ward's face drained of color. What are harvesters? Daniel asked, though part of him already knew. Images from Lyra's memories flickering through his consciousness. Sentinels specialized in consciousness extraction, Talin explained, activating the chamber. They'll target you specifically. We're out of time, Ward decided. Start the acceleration. The crystals surrounding Daniel brightened, their light becoming almost liquid as it flowed toward him. When it touched his skin, pain erupted through every nerve. Not burning or freezing, but a fundamental wrongness, as if his atoms were being rearranged. He screamed, back arching off the platform. Through the haze of agony, he heard Ward shouting, his system is rejecting the final phase. We need a catalyst. Suddenly, new memories cascaded through Daniel's mind. Not Lyra's alien experiences, but something more personal. A Chicago apartment. A woman laughing. Jessica, his sister, teaching him to dance for his high school prom. His father's silent pride when Daniel graduated college. His mother's chicken soup recipe. Human memories. His connections. His identity. The pain subsided, replaced by warmth spreading from his core outward. The chamber's crystals resonated in harmony. "It's working," the alien physician said with surprise. "He's using his human connections as anchors." In the distance, weapons fire echoed. The facility shook with explosions. "Taylin," Daniel called, his voice changing, deeper, more resonant. "The Royal Guard can't hold them off alone." She stared at him. "How did you?" "I can see it." And he could, multiple timelines branching before his perception, showing various outcomes of the ongoing battle. In most, the Concordat forces fell within minutes. "There's a maintenance tunnel in Section 14 that the Sentinels will use to flank your defenders. Seal it now." Taylin didn't question, immediately relaying the order through her communication device. Daniel's awareness expanded beyond the chamber, beyond the facility, reaching upward to the skies where the Sentinel command ship hovered beyond human detection. Aboard it, he sensed Lyra, weakened but alive, her consciousness calling to the fragment she had placed within him. "I can feel her," he whispered. The chamber suddenly darkened as the facility's power fluctuated. Emergency lighting bathed everything in red. "Main generators compromised," a technician reported. "Switching to backups." Ward checked the monitoring equipment. "Succession at 78%. "We're close." But the chamber door exploded inward. Sentinel soldiers poured through, their human disguises partially dropped to reveal gray-white skin and two long limbs. They moved with insectal precision, firing weapons that dissolved rather than destroyed. Concordat guards returned fire, creating a defensive line around Daniel's platform. Taylin drew twin energy blades that hummed with deadly purpose. "Get him out through the secondary exit," she ordered Ward. "Complete the succession at all costs." Daniel tried to rise, but the acceleration process had left him temporarily weakened. Ward and the alien physician disconnected him from the equipment and helped him toward a concealed door at the rear of the chamber. Behind them, Taylin engaged 3 sentinels simultaneously, her blades cutting through their armor like paper. But for each one that fell, 2 more advanced. "The necklace," Daniel gasped as Ward guided him through the hidden passage. "Where is it?" "Secure in the command center," Ward assured him. "But without the succession complete, you can't fully activate it." They emerged into a dimly lit corridor. Ahead, Daniel's enhanced hearing detected more sentinels approaching. "We're trapped," the physician whispered. "No," Daniel decided, drawing on newfound instincts. "There's another way." He pressed his palm against the corridor wall. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, responding to some imprint of Lyra's essence within him, the wall reconfigured, revealing a passage that shouldn't have existed. "Dimensional pocket," Ward breathed. "Only the Empress can access these." They hurried through as the wall sealed behind them. The new passage bypassed the facility's main sections, leading them deeper into the complex. Daniel moved more confidently now, Lyra's knowledge guiding him. "The command center is 2 levels down," he said, navigating turns without hesitation. "Daniel," Ward said cautiously, "how much of Lyra's consciousness has integrated with yours?" "Enough to know what must be done." Daniel's voice had taken on subtle harmonic undertones. "The Sentinels didn't just rebel against the Concordat, they've allied with something older. Something that was imprisoned long ago. The Void Collective," the physician whispered fearfully. "It's just a myth." "It's real," Daniel corrected. "And it's why Earth is so valuable. The dimensional nexus here isn't just strategic. It's a potential gateway." They reached the command center to find it already under assault. Concordat defenders held a barricade around the central control array, where the necklace, now glowing brilliantly, was connected to alien technology. Daniel strode forward with new authority. Status report. A human-looking officer turned in surprise. Succession now at 82%, but we're losing ground everywhere. The Sentinel fleet has begun atmospheric entry. Earth's governments are detecting them. Global panic is imminent. Daniel closed his eyes, accessing the expanded awareness the succession provided. He could see New York, Beijing, Moscow, all tracking unidentified objects entering Earth's atmosphere. Military forces mobilizing. Confusion and fear spreading. And aboard the command ship, Lyra, the true Empress, sending him one final, desperate message across their connected consciousness. The kiss wasn't just succession. It was salvation. Finish what I started, Daniel Crawford of Earth. Open a channel to all Concordat forces, Daniel commanded. And prepare the necklace. We're activating the defense network. But the succession isn't complete, Ward protested. Daniel fixed him with silver eyes that now perfectly matched Lyra's. It will be, because I'm not just accepting her power. I'm joining it with my own. As Sentinel forces breached the command center's outer doors, Daniel placed his hands on the control array, connecting directly with the necklace. Energy surged between them, completing circuits that spanned dimensions. The succession protocol flared to life, reaching 100% as Daniel Crawford, insurance salesman from Chicago, embraced his role as humanity's unlikely protector and temporary sovereign of 17 worlds. Throughout the facility, throughout Arizona, throughout the entire planet, everything fell silent for one eternal moment. Part 5. Silence gave way to clarity as Daniel's consciousness expanded beyond the command center, beyond Earth itself. The Concordat defense network unfolded before him like a vast, multidimensional chessboard. Satellite installations disguised as mundane human infrastructure activated across the planet. Deep ocean platforms awakened. Dormant technologies embedded within Earth's moon stirred to life. My God, Ward whispered, watching holographic displays track the awakening defenses. The network was far more extensive than even I knew. Daniel, now more than Daniel but not quite Lyra, manipulated the controls with instinctive precision. The Concordat has protected Earth for millennia. Did you think they would do so halfway? Around them, the command center had become an island of calm amid chaos. Sentinel forces had inexplicably withdrawn from their immediate assault, regrouping for something larger. They're receiving new orders, Daniel explained, perceiving the enemy's movements through the defense network. The Void Collective has realized the succession is complete. They're changing strategy. Taylin limped into the command center, bloodied but unbowed. The facility is secure for now, Empress. She hesitated before the honorific, studying Daniel's transformed countenance. His eyes now permanently silver, his movements carrying an otherworldly grace. Not Empress, Daniel corrected. Custodian, temporary caretaker. He turned to the central display. We have a more immediate problem. The Sentinel fleet is deploying atmospheric harvesters over major population centers. New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Boston. The display showed massive ships descending through cloud cover, their true forms visible only through Concordat imaging technology. To human observers, they appeared as unusual storm formations. What are they doing? Ward asked. Beginning a limited harvest, Daniel replied grimly. They'll extract consciousness from specific human populations, those with genetic markers they value, while causing what will appear to be natural disasters to cover their actions. We must evacuate those cities, Taylin urged. There's no time, Daniel countered. But we have another option. His fingers danced across the control interface. The defense network includes consciousness shielding. We can prevent the extraction, though not the physical damage from their cover operations. Ward paled. You're saying people will still die, but their consciousness won't be harvested and enslaved for eternity, Daniel finished. It's the best we can do until we neutralize the Sentinel command ship. Difficult decisions came easier now, influenced by Lyra's centuries of command experience. Daniel authorized the shield deployment, knowing he was sacrificing some to save many, a calculus no insurance salesman should ever have to compute. I need direct access to the command ship, he announced. Lyra is still alive up there, and she knows the Sentinel's weakness. Taylin shook her head. Even with your new abilities, breaching their flagship is impossible. They're defensive systems. We'll target any Concordat approach, Daniel interrupted. But they're not looking for a human shuttle launched from Earth. Understanding dawned on Ward's face. NASA has a prototype orbital vehicle at Edwards Air Force Base. With Concordat enhancements. Exactly, Daniel confirmed. I'll appear as nothing more than curious human technology until I'm too close to stop. You can't go alone, Taylin protested. I won't be alone. Daniel's silver eyes gleamed. I'll have you, Commander, and a strike team of your best. He turned to Ward. While we engage the command ship, you'll coordinate Earth's defenses from here. The Void Collective will attempt to open the dimensional gateway. They mustn't succeed. Ward nodded, accepting the responsibility. When do you leave? Immediately. Daniel disconnected the necklace from the array, placing it around his neck where it seemed to meld with his skin. We have 6 hours before irreversible damage occurs to the planetary consciousness field. As they prepared to depart, Daniel used a secure terminal to send an encoded message through human communication networks. Asterisk to Jessica Crawford, Lake Forest, Illinois asterisk. Asterisk stay safe. Keep our parents close. What I'm doing, I do for all of us. Asterisk. Asterisk I love you. Daniel. Asterisk. 90 minutes later, a modified NASA X-37 orbital vehicle streaked upward from Edwards Air Force Base, its capabilities enhanced far beyond its original design specifications. Inside, Daniel and 5 Royal Guards, disguised with technology that masked their Concordat energy signatures, ascended toward the hidden threat looming above Earth. Daniel's expanded consciousness tracked multiple timelines simultaneously. In most, their mission failed. In a precious few, they succeeded at terrible cost. In only one did he perceive a path where both Earth and Lyra might be saved. That timeline, Taylin observed, noting Daniel's focus. You found a solution? Not a solution, Daniel corrected. A possibility. One requiring perfect timing and sacrifice. As they approached orbital insertion, the craft's sensors detected the massive Sentinel command ship hovering in cislunar space, invisible to conventional human detection but clearly revealed by Concordat technology. It's enormous, Daniel whispered, viewing the vessel directly for the first time. Nearly 5 miles long, it resembled a massive skeletal hand, with 5 elongated segments extending from a central hub. The Void Collective prefers symbolic forms, Taylin explained. The hand that grasps worlds. Their approach continued unchallenged, the small craft appearing as nothing more than routine human space activity. Only when they maneuvered toward the command ship's ventral access port did alarms finally trigger. They've detected us, Taylin reported as warning signals flashed across their instruments. Defensive systems activating. Energy weapons lanced out from the massive vessel. Daniel closed his eyes, accessing the defense network through the necklace. With a thought, he generated a deflective field around their craft, not blocking the Sentinel weapons but bending their energy around the shuttle. We have one chance at docking, he told the team. The moment we attach, they'll know exactly who we are. The shuttle slammed against the access port, automatic systems engaging to create an airtight seal. Immediately, alarms blared throughout the Sentinel vessel. "They know," Taylin confirmed, checking her weapons. "All security protocols activated." Daniel rose from the pilot's seat, his body now moving with the fluid grace of someone born to low-gravity environments. "Remember the plan. You and your team create a diversion in their propulsion sector. I'll find Lyra. And if you can't reach her?" Daniel's expression hardened. "Then I'll destroy this ship with all of us on it. Earth's defense network can handle the remaining fleet if the command nexus is eliminated." The Royal Guards saluted, a gesture of respect not just to their Empress's essence but to the human who now carried it willingly into battle. They breached the airlock, immediately splitting into two teams. Taylin led her guards toward the ship's engineering section while Daniel moved alone toward the central hub, guided by his connection to Lyra. The Sentinel vessel's interior resembled biological architecture more than mechanical construction. Corridors that pulsed like arteries, surfaces that reacted to touch, ambient lighting that seemed to assess intruders. Daniel encountered the first Sentinel guards within minutes. 3 units clearly surprised to confront what appeared to be a human infiltrator. Before they could react, Daniel channeled energy through the necklace, releasing a pulse that disrupted their synthetic nervous systems. As they collapsed, Daniel placed his hand on the nearest wall, establishing direct communion with the vessel's semi-organic systems. Information flooded his consciousness: ship schematics, crew deployments, and most importantly, Lyra's location. She was being held in the central chamber, connected to extraction equipment designed to strip away her remaining knowledge and authority. The process was nearly complete. Daniel moved faster now, no longer bothering with stealth. When Sentinel forces appeared, he disabled them with increasingly confident applications of his new abilities. The necklace, now fully integrated with his bioelectric field, amplified his commands, turning the ship's own systems against its crew. In the distance, explosions signaled Taylon's success in disrupting the propulsion systems. The massive vessel shuddered, auxiliary power activating as primary systems failed. Daniel reached the central chamber's entrance to find it heavily guarded. 12 elite Sentinel units with weapons trained on the single access point. He closed his eyes, accessing the timelines once more. In every successful scenario, what came next required perfect timing. Without warning, the corridor behind him erupted in blue fire as Taylin and her remaining guards arrived, providing covering fire from an unexpected direction. The Sentinels turned, momentarily divided in their focus. Daniel seized the opportunity, channeling energy through his entire body. The necklace flared with blinding intensity as he released a concentrated pulse that overloaded the chamber's security systems. Doors designed to withstand interstellar bombardment slid open. Inside, suspended within a lattice of energy, hung Lyra, her true form now visible. Not human at all, but a being of crystalline light contained within a humanoid shell. The extraction equipment surrounded her like a metallic spider, draining her essence into storage units. And beside her stood the Sentinel Prime, leader of the rebellion, ambassador of the Void Collective. In form, he appeared almost human, distinguished only by eyes of absolute darkness. Not merely black, but empty of all light. "The successor arrives," he said, voice modulated to express amusement. "Right on schedule." Daniel stepped forward, Taylin and her guards forming a defensive perimeter at the entrance. "Release the Empress," Daniel demanded. The Sentinel Prime smiled. "Why would I do that when I now have both of you? The complete set." He gestured to the extraction equipment. "Her essence is nearly depleted. Yours, however, is fresh and complete. Together, you provide everything needed to open the gateway. You don't understand what you're unleashing," Daniel warned. The Void Collective wasn't imprisoned arbitrarily. They consume entire dimensional planes. They offer power beyond your comprehension, the Prime countered. Your Concordat has constrained this galaxy for too long. Evolution requires conflict, consumption, renewal. As they spoke, Daniel established a subtle connection with Lyra through their shared essence. Her consciousness, though weakened, recognized his presence immediately. Daniel Crawford of Earth, her thoughts whispered across the link. You came. I made a promise, he responded silently. How do we stop this? We don't, she replied. We transcend it. Before Daniel could interpret her meaning, the Sentinel Prime activated a device on his wrist. The extraction equipment accelerated, drawing more of Lyra's essence into its reservoirs. She convulsed in agony. Stop! Daniel lunged forward, only to freeze mid-motion as hidden restraint fields activated around him. Perfect, the Prime said with satisfaction. The successor delivered willingly into containment. Now we can begin the true harvest. New equipment emerged from the chamber floor, a duplicate of the extraction system holding Lyra, positioned to engulf Daniel. Behind him, Taylin and her guards found themselves similarly immobilized as additional restraint fields activated throughout the chamber. The Sentinel Prime approached Daniel, studying him with scientific curiosity. A human vessel for an Empress's essence. Unprecedented. The Void Collective will find your species particularly interesting. As the extraction equipment prepared to connect to Daniel's nervous system, Lyra's voice suddenly echoed through the chamber, not from her physical form but from within Daniel himself. The succession was never about preserving my authority. Her voice resonated with harmonic undertones that made the chamber vibrate. It was about evolution, transformation. The Prime's expression shifted from triumph to uncertainty. What are you? Daniel, Lyra called. Finish what we started. Complete the kiss. In that moment, Daniel understood the final timeline, the only one where victory was possible. With supreme effort, he broke through the restraint field just enough to touch the necklace at his throat. For Earth, he whispered. For all worlds. The necklace shattered, releasing pure Concordat energy directly into the chamber's systems. The extraction equipment overloaded, connections reversing as Daniel established direct consciousness synchronization with Lyra. Their separate essences, human and Empress, flowed together, creating something entirely new. ## Part 6. The command ship trembled as energy cascaded through its systems, overloading circuits and disrupting the biological components of its architecture. The restraint fields flickered and died, freeing Taylin and her guards. The Sentinel Prime staggered backward, his perfect composure shattered. What have you done? Before him, the impossible unfolded. The extraction cradle holding Lyra's crystalline form shattered as her essence flowed not into the ship's storage systems but into Daniel. Simultaneously, aspects of Daniel's consciousness transferred to Lyra's physical vessel. Neither conquest nor absorption but willing fusion. Something the Void Collective cannot comprehend. Daniel and Lyra spoke in perfect unison, their voices overlapping in harmonic resonance. True symbiosis. The Sentinel Prime's hand moved toward a concealed weapon, but Taylin was faster. Her energy blade severed his arm at the wrist. The Concordat sends its regards, she said coldly, before driving the blade through his chest. As the Prime collapsed, the ship's internal communications erupted with chaos. Reports of systems failures throughout the vessel, defensive arrays shutting down, propulsion offline. The leaderless sentinels fell into disarray. Daniel/Lyra stepped forward, their shared consciousness now fully integrated. When they spoke, it was with one voice, though two mouths moved in synchronization. The succession protocol was never meant to simply transfer power. they explained to the astonished Taylin. It was designed to create evolution when needed. Human adaptability combined with concordat awareness. Taylin knelt instinctively. Empresses, the ship is destabilizing. We must evacuate. Not yet. Daniel/Lyra moved to the chamber's central console. First, we sever the Void Collective's foothold in this dimension. Their hands, one human, one crystalline, worked in perfect coordination across the alien controls. The command ship's massive energy reserves redirected, forming a containment field around the half-open dimensional gateway the Sentinels had begun creating. Throughout Earth's atmosphere, the Sentinel fleet faltered as their command network dissolved. Defense systems activated by Daniel earlier now pressed their advantage, systematically disabling the invaders. In New York City, Jessica Crawford stood on her apartment balcony watching strange lights dance across the night sky, unaware that her brother now helped orchestrate humanity's defense from orbit. The gateway is sealed, Daniel/Lyra announced. But this vessel's power core is critically unstable. We have minutes before detonation. To the shuttle, Taylin ordered her remaining guards. As they hurried through the disintegrating command ship, automated systems failed around them. Sentinel units either fled toward escape pods or stood frozen, disconnected from their command hierarchy. They reached the docking port to find their shuttle severely damaged by security countermeasures. The propulsion system is destroyed, Taylin reported after a quick assessment. We can detach, but we can't navigate. We don't need to, Daniel/Lyra assured her, placing their hands on the shuttle's hull. Energy flowed from their dual forms, repairing critical systems with pure concordat power. We have alternatives. The shuttle detached from the dying command ship, thrusters firing just enough to establish safe distance. Behind them, the massive Sentinel vessel began to break apart, energy discharges illuminating Earth's night side like premature dawn. Daniel/Lyra stood at the shuttle's view screen, watching the destruction with complex emotions flowing between their shared consciousness. The Sentinel fleet is neutralized, they confirmed, monitoring the defense network. Earth is safe for now. For now, Taylin questioned. The Void Collective will try again, they explained. This was merely their first attempt to breach the dimensional barriers. That's why the succession had to evolve. The old ways of protection are no longer sufficient. The command ship detonated in a spectacular eruption of light, temporarily outshining the moon. Across Earth, millions witnessed what scientists would later classify as an unusually vibrant meteor shower. Return to Sedona Base, Daniel/Lyra instructed. Dr. Ward must be informed of the new protocol. The shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, its concordat shielding preventing detection by human monitoring systems. As they approached the Arizona desert, Daniel and Lyra's dual consciousness considered the path forward. What happens now? Daniel's individual awareness asked within their shared mind. We become something new, Lyra's essence responded. Neither human nor Empress, but protector of both realms. My sister, my family. Can I ever return to them? Not as you were, Lyra acknowledged, but perhaps as something more. The shuttle landed at the hidden facility, now rapidly repairing itself through automated systems. Ward rushed to meet them, his expression shifting from relief to astonishment as both Daniel and Lyra emerged from the craft. How is this possible? He gasped. The succession protocol has evolved, they finished in unison, as all things must. In the days that followed, the new arrangement became clear. The human Daniel Crawford would retain aspects of the Empress's consciousness and authority, serving as Earth's primary concordat representative. Lyra would return to the Concordat High Council, forever changed by her human connection. Together, They would forge a new relationship between Earth and the wider cosmos. The Void Collective believes consciousness is a resource to be harvested, Daniel explained to Ward as they stood beneath the red rocks of Sedona 1 month later. We've proven it's a partnership to be nurtured. His eyes still held hints of silver, though his appearance had mostly returned to human normal. The necklace, reforged from its shattered components, once again hung around his neck, a symbol of his new role. And Jessica? Ward asked gently. Your parents? Daniel smiled sadly. I've arranged protection for them. Jessica received a job offer from a technology firm in Boston, a Concordat front. She'll be safe there, though she can't know why. He gazed up at the night sky. Perhaps someday, when Earth is ready for full disclosure. And you, Ward pressed. Are you still Daniel Crawford? I am, he confirmed. And more. The kiss that started this, it wasn't just transfer or strategy. It was connection, understanding, something the Void Collective can never comprehend and therefore can never defeat. Above them, stars glittered in the clear desert sky, some housing worlds under Concordat protection, others harboring threats yet to emerge. Earth, once isolated in cosmic ignorance, now stood at the threshold of a wider universe. In New York, Jessica Crawford unpacked boxes in her new Boston apartment, pausing to examine a strange gift that had arrived that morning. A crystal paperweight that seemed to glow from within when she touched it. The note accompanying it read simply, Always with you. D. In Chicago, a taxi driver with silver eyes picked up passengers, gathering intelligence and protecting his adopted world in small, crucial ways. And in 17 dimensions across the galaxy, beings of all forms sensed a fundamental shift in the cosmic order. A new hybrid consciousness that bridged worlds previously separate. The alien Empress had kissed him, and worlds had fallen silent. But from that silence, a new voice had emerged. One that spoke simultaneously for humanity and the cosmos, for Earth and stars beyond. Daniel Crawford stood beneath the Arizona sky, feeling Lyra's essence resonate within him across impossible distances. Their connection, forged in crisis, had transformed into something unprecedented. A bridge between species, between dimensions. The kiss that began as strategy had become salvation. And in the vast emptiness between stars, the Void Collective retreated, temporarily thwarted but not defeated, planning their next assault against a defender they had never anticipated. A human from Chicago who carried an Empress within.